Hi, good morning. This is e-learning day for April 2nd for Math 1. Today we're going to start off by going over the answers to homework number 1 and 2 from this week. Okay, so I'm just going to show you the answer key. I'm going to talk about a few of these. Okay, like examples 1 and 3, we talked about, where you may have limited tick marks from each triangle. Okay, we're trying to use one of the postulates, and a majority of them need at least 3 parts from each triangle to be marked congruent. Number 1, okay, we have vertical angles there. So we can mark those up, and that allowed us to, based off the markings, say that these 2 triangles are congruent by ASA. Same thing with number 3. Again, we have those vertical angles there. Alright, so we can mark those up as being congruent. Again, getting these 2 triangles congruent by angle, side angle. Now we go to number 4. Again, we only have 2 parts marked up. Again, we have an opportunity to mark up these vertical angles here if we wanted to, and I'm going to go ahead and do that. Alright, the triple tick mark. However, again, you look at the tick marks, the arrangement of tick marks, it's angle, 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 right? It's 3 angles, and that is not a postulate. So, alright, we're going to say for number 4, there's not enough information to say that these 2 triangles are congruent. So even though we have 3 things marked up, right, remember AAA is not a postulate. Number 5, these 2 triangles share that side, so we're going to tick mark those, and that's a side that is common to both. And with that tick mark and these angle tick marks, this gives us these 2 triangles congruent by angle, angle, side, AAS. Again, looking at number 8, these 2 triangles share that side. So based off of the markings, we can say that these 2 triangles are congruent by angle, side, angle. They have the same marks for each, the same arrangements for each. So again, they are congruent, yes, by angle, side, angle. Number 10. And this one's not enough information. We have the opportunity, if we wanted to, mark up these vertical angles in here. However, the arrangement of these markings is side, side, angle. Right? Side, side, angle is not a postulate we talked about. So again, therefore, there's not enough information for this one. Here's homework number 2. Again, number 1, they share those 2 sides. They share that side for both triangles, so we can mark that up with a tick mark, getting us these 2 triangles congruent by SSS, or side, side, side. Again, being able to identify vertical angles or shared sides allows you to get more information where you can prove these 2 triangles congruent. Again, be careful. And we talked about the only things that you can add in terms of tick marks are vertical angles or shared sides. Number 6, these 2 triangles, you're initially given 1 angle from each. You have the opportunity to mark up this side in between. They share these 2 sides as being congruent. So you have 1 angle from each. You have a side from each. but then that's it. Right? There's nothing else that we can mark up. There are no vertical angles that we can mark up. There are no other sides we can mark up. Therefore, there is not enough information to prove these two triangles congruent. Number 8, and these are vertical angles, yes, but also because of the little box here, we know that both of these angles are also 90-degree angles. So they are congruent, and they're both 90. Okay, so again, we're looking at the arrangement of the tick marks, and we see initially it's side-side angle, which again is not a postulate. However, because it's a right triangle, and this is the hypotenuse that's marked up with a tick mark, we can say that these two triangles are congruent by HL, hypotenuse leg. Again, HL is only valid for right triangles. Again, reminder that AAA is not a postulate. You cannot prove triangles congruent if you have all three angles marked up. Okay, now the last section for this homework, right, says state what additional information is required in order to know that the triangles are congruent for the given reason. So if we want to prove these two triangles congruent by SAS, we need to look at what we're given. We are definitely given for each triangle two sets of sides. So I have both S's. So all I need is an angle. However, if I want to prove it by side angle side, the angle that we need has to be in between the two sides. So while we have three angles that we can possibly mark up, only one of them is going to satisfy the SAS. So for this triangle, since these are the two sides that are tick marked, we need this angle to be marked up with a tick mark, because that's the angle in between the two sides. Right? X is not, and neither is Z. So then we go to the other triangle and say, okay, here are the two tick mark sides. If I want to do SAS, I need the angle in between. And so of these three angles, the only angle that's in between the two tick mark sides is angle E. Alright, so therefore we need angle Y to be congruent to angle E if we want to do SAS. Number 12, we want to prove these two triangles congruent by angle side angle. So again, we are initially given an angle from each, so I have one of the two A's. And we also know, while we're not given this, right, that they share this side, so we can tick mark that. So that gives us our S. So now we just need a second angle marked up. And now while we have options, there's only one option that works, and it has to be this angle down in here. Alright? For this triangle, you see the arrangement of the tick marks, angle, side angle, where the side is in between the angle markings. We need S to be in between the two angles. Okay, so this angle is angle RAB, R to A to B, and that needs to be congruent with this angle right here. And looking at the other triangle, angle, side angle, this is the angle we need from that triangle, and that's angle CAB. Number 13, we want to prove these two triangles congruent by angle, angle, side. Right, so again, we are initially given one side tick mark from each, so we have the S. We know we have vertical angles available, So we have an A. So all we need is one more angle to be congruent. All right. Again, we have options. All right. In this triangle, we have either angle B or angle F. But if we want to do angle side, it has to be angle F. Angle side. So we move on to the other triangle. The angle that we need to use, right, is angle U. Angle side. Okay, so we need angle F to be congruent to angle U. 14, here we have two triangles that share a side, so we can tick mark that. So now of the SSS, we have two S's. So all we really need is IJ to be congruent to TJ. (15) vertical angles. We can mark those up. Right angles. Sides opposite those right angles are congruent, so that's our hypotenuse. So we just need a leg. So I'm going to pick LJ. Needs to be congruent to TJ. And that's going to get us H out. Okay. Alright, so for today's homework, I'm going to do a couple of review pages. Okay, so these are page 19 and 20 on the homework link that I included on this assignment. So you need to kind of scroll down, and I'll show you where these are at here in a minute. Let me go ahead and do that right now, actually. Okay, so this is on page 19 and 20 from that packet link that I gave you in this assignment. Okay. Alright. So I'm going to do a couple of these with you, and then the rest you're going to do for homework. Alright, so it says for each problem, give the correct naming order of the congruent triangles. Write the name in order on the lines for the problem, and also indicate what postulate or theorem is being used. So we talked about how the order in which you label these triangles does matter. We need all the corresponding parts to match up. So this first triangle is triangle ABC, A to B to C. The second triangle here has to be named in a certain order. Okay, so we need to match up. So we're looking at BC first because that has a tick mark. So BC is the last two letters here. And here I have IW with the same tick mark. So potentially I have IW as the last two letters. Okay, so that's only going to leave R for this. So we got to double check to make sure the order matches. Alright, so BC, IW have the same tick marks. They are both the last two letters in the name. Alright, C has a angle tick mark, and so does I. So where C is, I needs to be there too. Okay, so here I need to kind of switch the order because C and I need to be in the same place. So I'm going to go ahead and switch that. Now we see that still works for our side, right? BC and IW, BC, WI have the same tick marks. I and C have the same tick marks, so they are in the same place. Right? A has nothing, R has nothing, and they are in the first position. So these two triangles are congruent by side, angle, side. Alright, for this last example I'm going to go over, again, you're going to label the second triangle ESH, and you're going to double check the tick marks. Alright, SH and BC have the same double tick mark. Angle C and angle H have the same tick mark, so they're in the same place. And these two triangles are congruent by angle, side. So just do page 19 for homework. Guys, have a great day.